Hello, everyone. Catchy1383 with Catchy Gaming, and I played the Battlefield 6 Open Beta this weekend. Now, I sort of played a little bit of Battlefield 1942 back in the day, and then I mainly played Battlefield 3, a little bit of 4, but I mostly played Battlefield Bad Company when that was a thing. Skipped over Battlefield 5, and I did play Battlefield 1 quite a bit as well. The World War 1 game which was nothing but World War 2 with World War 1 skins, but whatever. So now that I established my Battlefield credit, I'm going to preface this that I suck at these games. I am absolutely terrible. But I was playing with my youngest brother, so we kind of enjoyed the moments here and there. I mean, he's much better than I am in terms of first-person shooters when it comes to at least the competitive side, fighting other players. Me, that side of me died when I moved out in the middle of nowhere and actually couldn't play in any of the competitive anything because the internet just wasn't available out in the middle of nowhere. It is now, but 10, 15 years ago, 20, however long ago it was, I moved out in the middle of nowhere. It just wasn't available. I know I gave a really broad range of dates there. It's sometime after Battlefield Bad Company. Let's go with that. And Battlefield 1. Because eventually a government gave out a grant to put fiber optic cable out in the middle of nowhere, so now I have really good internet. That's besides the point. That's just me rambling. So, overall, I would say the game is actually pretty good looking in terms of its aesthetics. I'll give it that. Not a fan of explosions shaking my screen because explosions probably shouldn't shake your screen as violently as it does, but it's a minor thing. It's been worse in other games. And just to preference this, the images you're seeing here, the video footage. This is literally my very first game, so I have absolutely no idea how to play the game. I can't even see how the bullet's dropping to compensate for the distance that I'm firing, let alone being able to... Haven't even figured out how to zoom in for range. I get the whole conquest thing. That really hasn't changed all that much, So there have been some improvements, and then there's also some lack of improvements where it becomes a little bit Call of Duty in terms of some of the weapons. Particularly when it comes to a lot of the assault rifles, where the game feels like the faster firing gun is always going to win because they didn't balance out the damage with the amount of fire that comes out of the gun. I mean, it's basic game design 101. The faster firing gun, you do less damage so you don't absolutely just hose everybody. It's like they don't take caliber of weapon being used into account, which is kind of bullshit, actually, because you get the big old LMGs and they don't do nearly the same amount of damage as these fast firing little rifles. I mean, there's other ways you can balance the game out by reducing accuracy by these people just spraying bullets, which I did look. There are actually some people who were cheating in the Battlefield open beta, and I'm pretty sure I experienced it multiple times with people who had surprisingly really large bits of accuracy for a weapon that absolutely just spits bullets because I've used the same weapon with the same mods. And it wasn't nearly as accurate as this guy or these people were using. But nonetheless, let me just preface that. It's really hard to tell sometimes because I absolutely suck. Now, one of the other negative aspects of this game type is playing with people who don't seem to understand how HUDs work, which is your heads-up display, and people just ignoring that little map in the bottom right-hand corner, because I've literally seen people walk by little blips on the map indicating an enemy there, and then getting shot in the back, like whole groups of people. It's like they don't know how HUDs work, and I'm blaming games like Fortnite, Valorant, and Apex Legends for that. Along with some basic literal battlefield tactics, like capturing a point right outside your main spawn area. People don't seem to understand that if they capture the points behind you, they can flank from behind. I mean, at this point, I'm just griping about the player base. I mean, this is nothing new, but it was actually surprisingly worse in this because I guess a lot of people just haven't been playing a lot of games like this. They've been playing a lot of battle royales and stuff like that. And either haven't figured it out or just don't care about that aspect of the game, even though that's kind of the point of it. I eventually just said screw it and stopped trying to keep people from backcapping when I play by myself. I usually went with my youngest brother because, the importance of keeping those points and making sure they can't sit out our spawn and just absolutely wipe us out, which happened a couple of times. It also happened to the other team as well when we were playing. Now, I didn't just do Conquest. I did a couple rounds of Breakthrough, and then I did what was basically just a smaller arm of Conquest. I can't remember what it is for the life of me. Isn't important. That one drove me up the wall because people would just absolutely flank the hell out of me. But they flanked the hell out of me out of directions that people were looking at. They would just run by the team members, and the team members just wouldn't be paying attention to people running by them for reasons I don't know. So I didn't play just Conquest. I tried Breakthrough. So I only played it on 2 maps, and they had one on this map where they only used like a small section of it. And the terrain isn't set up all that well for that particular portion of the Conquest. Sorry, Breakthrough. So it was very hard to get through that section of map, and I feel like it needs to be balanced out just a little bit with how reinforcements work. Like maybe actually give a limit to the defending side's team so they don't just get to perpetually spawn guys left and right, because you can absolutely slaughter the other team and still not be able to get through. I would know. I've been on the defending side, and we absolutely were starting to lose, but because we had infinite respawns, we absolutely pushed them back and devastated them. And it was one of the few moments I actually got to shine bright and devastate the other team and not absolutely getting my butt beat by everybody else. And I haven't tried any of the vehicles yet. Well, let me rephrase. I tried some vehicles. I tried the anti-air tank. It didn't go well. I haven't tried any of the aircraft, mainly because of Battlefield 3. Those controls were absolutely horrible to use and figure out. But eventually, I don't know if they had like a trainee mode or something. I think there is a Conquest 101. I don't know what that entails. If it allows me to get into a vehicle, I might try that. But I wish I could just go on to some of these maps, which I think eventually will when it releases. And I can sort of get a better idea how to use these weapons while not getting shot at. Like the sniper rifle, getting to get the range down correct and use all the range finders and distance I need to get that sight so I can hit whatever I'm shooting at, but as well as hopefully letting me customize my controls. It sort of let me do that to some degree, but some of the things like zeroing in the sight to the range, which is assigned to B, and I tried to reassign it to one of my mouse buttons, it would not let me do that. But again, it's just an open beta. Hopefully they'll change that in the future. Nope, but my biggest issue right now is just the balance between the guns. Like, you have an LMG that fires a 30 caliber round. It takes way too many bullets to kill a guy with a 30 caliber weapon, while a guy with a tiny little gun is surprisingly super accurate can fire really fast at really long distances and nail you with no problem. Again, it's really hard because, yes, there are confirmed cheaters, but it's also really hard to tell if the guy's just really good at this point. I'm not saying that part right there in specific. The guy was right there and I was standing out in the open, so yes, I was going to get shot. Remember, this was still my very first game. Nope, but it'll probably be one of those games that I buy so I can play with my youngest brother because we enjoy playing these together. And eventually I'll probably get somewhat decent, probably average, where I'll break even on my kill to deaths. That'll probably be the best case scenario, and then it'll get to a point where player base drops off, and you'll just get the elite guys, and I'll be like, I cannot take these guys on, and then I'll just eventually stop playing, which is typically what happens with a lot of online multiplayer games. Not good enough to run with the big dogs, so I drop off. Anyways, I'll probably try it again with the upcoming weekend. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.